You're 26 and broke. Right now, your rent is 3 months late. Your landlord has asked you to vacate in 2 days. You dread opening your banking app. Your father passed away 3 days ago. He had a heart attack at his desk before the market even opened. Even in death, the man kept business hours. Relatives fill your mother's house for 3 days straight. They bring flowers, casseroles, and opinions nobody asked for. Your mother sits through all of it and says almost nothing. You handle everything else instead. Grief is easier when it comes with a checklist. Your phone rings on day 4. It's your father's lawyer. He asks you to come in and go over the will. You show up the next morning. He opens a folder and slides it across the desk. Your father didn't leave you a house. He left you a hedge fund. It is called Ashford Capital. You have heard the name your whole life, but in the same way children hear about tax audits and cholesterol. It existed. It paid for school. It kept your father away from dinner. You thought it was just his job. It is not. It manages $480 million. Not all his money. Mostly other people's money. Retired doctors, family offices, a university endowment. 2 angry billionaires who probably collect lawsuits like watches. He was the founder, portfolio manager, salesman, therapist, and human panic button. Now, according to the papers, you own the company. You don't own the $480 million. That's the first thing the lawyer says. You own the responsibility for not destroying it. That's worse. The investors can redeem. The banks can pull credit. The regulators can ask questions in voices that make innocent people feel guilty. You studied economics. You know spreadsheets. You don't know how to hold a machine that feeds on fear. On Monday, you enter the office. The environment is mostly about glass walls, quiet carpet, and people speaking numbers. The team looks at you like a substitute teacher walking into a surgery room. It is too big. It has back support designed for a man who spent 20 years slowly turning stress into posture damage. The chief operating officer, Mira, hands you a risk report. You nod like the words are entering your brain. Long-short equity, merger arbitrage, event-driven positions, gross exposure, net exposure, drawdown, liquidity bucket. It all sounds intelligent until you realize intelligence is not the same as safety. Then Mira shows you the problem. Your father had a large position in a mid-size pharma company waiting for FDA approval. If the drug works, the fund wins big. If it fails, the fund loses ugly. He was confident. Dead people often leave confidence behind as debt. Every instinct tells you to perform. Wear the suit. Use the jargon. Tell them the strategy remains unchanged. Say continuity. Say disciplined process. Say risk-adjusted returns in a low voice and hope nobody smells terror. Instead, you do the most expensive thing possible. You tell the truth. On the investor call, your hands shake under the desk. You say your father was brilliant. You say you are not him. You say the fund will not pretend that nothing changed. You are freezing new risk for 30 days, reducing concentrated bets, reviewing leverage, and giving investors a clean redemption window. There is silence. Then, one billionaire asks if this is fear. You say, yes. But controlled fear is risk management. Uncontrolled confidence is how funds die. Nobody laughs. That is how you know the line worked. Some investors redeem. Not everyone. Enough to hurt. Not enough to kill. You survive day 1. For 30 days, you do not trade for glory. You audit. Every position, every fee. Every agreement your father signed after midnight. Every side letter promising something annoying to someone important. You discover the fund is not a scam. That is the good news. The bad news is that it is brilliant in the way old machines are brilliant. Powerful, profitable, and held together by the habits of one exhausted man. Your father remembered relationships. Your father knew which broker lied slowly. Your father could read a CEO's voice on an earnings call, like the weather. None of that is in the model, so you build what he never had. Rules, position limits, liquidity limits, stop-loss review triggers. No leverage that depends on everyone staying calm at the same time. The old analysts hate it. They say alpha comes from conviction. Mira says conviction without process is just ego wearing a tie. You keep Mira. The pharma position gets approval. The fund jumps. Everyone suddenly loves the dead man's strategy again. Investors call you steady. Reporters call it a comeback. You do not celebrate because you had already cut the risk in half. You made less money than you could have. You also avoided the version where the approval failed and the fund became a cautionary podcast. This becomes your first real lesson. In finance, the money you did not make will haunt you loudly. The money you did not lose will save you quietly. You take performance fees that year, real money, more than you have ever seen attached to your name. You want to buy a penthouse. Instead, you pay your taxes early. Then you buy your mother a smaller house near her sister, not a mansion where grief can echo. She complains that the kitchen is too modern. That is how you know she likes it. You stop trying to be your father. That is when the fund gets better. You split the business into 3 engines. First, the hedge fund. Smaller, stricter, lower leverage. It hunts for mispriced companies, but only when the downside is survivable. Second, a boring wealth arm for long-term clients. Index funds, bonds, cash, tax planning. Nothing sexy. Nothing that ruins Christmas. Third, a personal holding company for your own money. No mixing investor money with family dreams. No temporary borrowing. No genius exceptions. They stay rich by separating buckets. Risk bucket, safety bucket, opportunity bucket, life bucket. Poor planning mixes them together and calls it hustle. Your father built a sharp sword. You build a drawer where the sword cannot cut the children. Then the market turns. Not a gentle correction, a proper stomach drop year. Rates rise, deals break. Growth stocks fall like they remembered gravity. A short position moves against you because markets enjoy teaching humility in public. Old investors panic. New investors panic faster. For 1 week, every morning feels like opening a door to find a different animal on fire. But the rules hold. Liquidity is there. Leverage is low. No single position can kill the fund. Clients in the boring wealth arm are down, but not destroyed. Your own holding company has cash. You can buy, not recklessly, carefully. You buy great companies whose prices fell faster than their businesses. You buy short-term bonds paying real yield. You buy back a small stake in your own management company from a retiring partner at a fair price. This is practical multiplication. 3 years later, Ashford is smaller yet stronger than when you inherited it. The assets under management are lower, but the business is healthier. The investors who stayed understand the strategy. The employees who remained are adults. The angry billionaires left, which improved returns and blood pressure. You no longer chase being famous. You've learned that famous fund managers become famous right before they become documentaries. So you focus on staying useful. The hedge fund compounds steadily. The wealth arm grows because boring money has more friends than genius money. Your holding company buys small profitable businesses from tired owners who care more about legacy than auctions. Your mother visits the office once. She stands near your father's old photograph and asks if you are sleeping. You say yes, mostly. She touches the frame and says, "Then you are doing better than him." That hits harder than any quarterly return. It is 2030. You are 32. You sit in the same conference room where the lawyer handed you the folder. Only now, the folder is yours. Inside is a new plan. If you die, the fund does not become a family curse. Mira becomes CIO. Investors get clear options. Your mother is protected. Employees know what happens. No child inherits a bomb and gets told it is a blessing. You sign the documents. Not because you expect disaster. Because love without planning becomes paperwork for grieving people. That evening, you walk home instead of taking the car. The city is loud. Restaurants are full. People are complaining about rent, bosses, dates, traffic, and bills. You feel alive. Your father left you a machine built for winning. You turned it into a system built for surviving. Then, slowly, surviving became winning. At home, your mother has sent you food in containers you are legally required to return. You heat dinner, open your laptop, and see the market is down again. You don't panic. You're already prepared. That's the happy ending nobody sells. Not the yacht, not the magazine cover, not the billionaire handshake. A business that can breathe, a family that can sleep, money that works without needing someone to bleed for it. You close the laptop. Tomorrow, the market will open. This time, so will you. Like the story? Maybe you're waiting for a happy ending like this one in your own life too. Comment your thoughts, subscribe, and stay tuned. The next one's already on its way.